Hi guys, this is week 27 Project Life and I am using the August Citrus Twist Kits Pocket Life Kit. I've also got a couple of the cards that I had stamped in my last video. I'm going to use them as well as add to them. So the photos that I've got that I thought might go on these pattern cards that I had made are just slightly too large. I don't see enough of the pattern that I want to, so I'm just going to trim them down just a little bit. I'm just going to mat these photos back up again because I do like the white edge around them and I had to trim that off, of course, so it just helps the photos stand out a little bit from the pattern background. Going to need a second pattern for this other photo, so I'm going to use the exact same technique and actually the same stamps. I'm just going to do it in yellows and oranges rather than the blues. So the colour scheme this week sort of comes from the sunset photo at the top there, and although the blues were in there, I really liked the yellows as well, so I'm adding yellow to that, and then I'm just going to swap those photos around so that the blue one is on the yellow background and the black and white one's on the blue background. And of course, I'm still using these terrible page protectors, so I need to trim everything down to fit. And then I'm thinking I'm going to add one card, one of the 4x6 cards, and then I'm just going to go through some of the papers and see if anything suits. Nothing really suited particularly well, but I do love this gold foil paper, so I'm going to use that and I'm going to make it work. Now I loved the star pattern that I had stamped onto that card there, but it was only a 3x4, so I'm going to recreate the same pattern, but this time on the 4x6 that I need for the bottom pocket. So again, I'm using the same technique. I'm using a bit of washi tape as a guide, and then I'm going to use the star stamp and some yellow ink just to stamp a border across the bottom of the card. Once that's done, I can just peel up the washi tape and then I've got the same sort of thing that I had last time. I had a bit of a shuffle, so I've only got this really small photo to go on this card, so I'm thinking I'm going to do like a little stamped embellishment like I had done in the video. And when I stamped this one onto the circle of paper, it just looked so empty. It was like just not big enough for the piece, and then I thought maybe I could die cut it into a scalloped shape. And I had two different scalloped circles to use, and I mean, I've done it way too small. So I'm gonna try that all again. This time I'm gonna cut my scalloped piece first. And then I can stamp on top of that and it will be much easier to get it centered. So my whole point for doing this is that I thought I might be able to use the little circle of that same gold foil paper underneath it. So I'm going to add some fun foam to the back of my scallop piece just to raise it up and create almost like my own DIY embellishment. But actually I just wasn't super happy with the gold underneath it. On the white card it's this really odd colour, it's not quite white background, so in the end I cut another circle out of the black and grey paper. And I'm going to use that instead. That looks more purposefully grey rather than just a dull white. Before I stick this photo down onto my 4x6 card, I just ran it through my typewriter with some journaling. Then I can stick down my photo and I'm going to add the little embellishment that I had stamped the other day with the ampersand. But again, I'm just going to add a tiny bit of fun foam underneath it just to raise it up a little bit. And again, trim it down so it will fit in the pocket. Now these cards I can stick the photos down because I think I'm definitely happy with how they look. However, the journal card that I had created for the middle, I didn't like the blue. I wanted to add just a little bit more black back into it, so I'm essentially going to recreate the same thing and I'm going to cheat and just use the back of the card. So I'm just placing the stamps down where the other ones were so I can pick them up in the exact same place and stamp them again in black ink. Then I'm going to do my journaling on it, and I actually stitched around the edge of it just to add a little bit of texture. This photo here I love so much, it's just getting one little stamp. It says best seat in the house, and it really is. That is the view from my couch in our new house, so I just adore it. So that stamp was perfect. And one last stamp on that photo. And now I'm going to add just a few little chipboardy pieces. This one had a green on it that I didn't really love, but I'm just going to offset it to the side and then cut the green piece off. And just add a staple, just for again a little bit more texture. And I wondered about using that Today chipboard piece, whether there was anything else. I didn't love that it was black, but in the end that was the best piece for that photo, so I've just added that in. And I wanted to do some journaling on this card, but I probably shouldn't have stuck that embellishment down first. Luckily it peeled off not too badly and I could run it through my typewriter and then stick it back on. And then I want to add the story puffy sticker as well, so I'm going to carefully squeeze that on underneath the embellishment. And I wondered whether I could add a heart, but I don't think it actually needed it. Now, I had no idea what to do for my title card until I saw this piece out of the die cut pack, which is the perfect blue, so I figure I'll make that work. To cover up a bit more of the inside, I'm just going to glue some just plain white card onto the back, and that'll be where my title can go. But speaking of title, I had no idea what I was going to put, so there are no alphas this week, and I didn't really want to stamp again, so I just carried on with the sort of cluster I'm making, and I'm going to stamp a label just using half the sort of label stamp that was in that entertainment stamp set as well, just on a piece of white card. And that frame embellishment has dates and some lines, and the frame that I've stamped didn't cover it all up, so I've just moved it off to the side so it says date, and then I can date stamp it. So now I'm not sure about alphas. I ended up going into my stash and just picking some yellow ones. I don't have a lot of yellow alphas actually, so I grabbed these ones and stuck them down before I realised that there were no numbers on them. So in the end I just grabbed my brush pen and thought I'll just brush letter some numbers on, so I've done that. And then I was like, oh, did a terrible job centering that. It looks terrible. So I'm just adding 3 of the yellow chipboard crosses just to make it look like it's off-centered on purpose. And that is this week all done. Very strong colour theme, but I do love it. And you can see how easy it is to use these stamp sets to create your own perfect Project Life cards. If you want to keep watching, there's a couple more videos on screen. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Bye!